Welcome to This Week in Wrestling History.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of This Week in Wrestling History. As always, hosts Jacob,
Yo,
Ryan. What are we doing this week?
we have a friend here with us.
Yes.
So we kind of, for this game that we're about to play, needed somebody who knew nothing about wrestling.
Is aware wrestling exists, so why don't you actually introduce your guest?
So this is my friend Rob.
Hello.
Rob's kind of knows nothing about wrestling.
Well, I wouldn't say nothing, but
I mean,
not enough to know enough.
You know who some characters are, but you don't really follow it.
Hulk Hogan.
Oh, boy, this will be fun. All right, then.
I know where that sits.
So, yeah, we have a game show coming up this week. So we'll get to that in just a second. First, let's get our plugs out of the way.
All right. So Twitter, WrestleHistPod.
Gmail, Wrestling History Podcast at gmail.com.
We're on Facebook at This Week in Wrestling History.
On YouTube, just search for Wrestling History Podcast and look for the 80s looking logo.
No, it's This Week in Wrestling
Oh,
History
This Week in
Podcast.
Wrestling History Podcast. Oh, I'm the worst.
Get it right. And then we're on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Play, and apparently we're on Stitcher too, and like 2 other things that I just found out by Googling us. So
Sweet. Awesome. Well, apparently people are listening to us. That's great.
if you don't have one of those 3 major things, just Google it and you'll find us.
Yay, us.
We're like the 4th thing. So,
Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
yeah.
All right. So, anyways, we have a game show this week. So, last week, Jacob and I sat down and came up with some descriptions of wrestling angles and then made some up.
So these are going to be super generic. They're going to not really have any names or...
Yeah, no names
Major-
associated with anything, just more character descriptions.
And then Rob is going to guess which one is real and which one is fake. Well, which one is fake, but which one is made up.
Which was an actual wrestling angle. What, you mean some of these things aren't real life events that happened and were taken very seriously?
Shocking, I know, but yes, some of these things did not really happen in real life.
Okay, so yeah, basically, Rob will be guessing which is the real wrestling angle, which is the fake thing that one of us came up with. We both came up with 6 real ones and 6 fake ones.
Hence why we needed somebody who knew very little about wrestling.
Yeah, we needed a third party
Very
here.
little.
So there is a prize at stake.
Yeah, so if Rob manages to guess the most of which are real and which one is fake, we actually have an NXT, toy NXT title that Rob will win. And if Rob can't guess most of these, whoever, between Ryan and myself, whoever made up the best ones to stump him, then gets the belt.
I think going forward it should be known as the Wrestling History Championship.
Okay.
We can
That,
make it.
that was going to be my next question is, so say I do somehow pull this out and I win. Does that mean I get to come back on the show and retain the belt?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Perfect.
There will be
Oh.
a second round of
I mean,
this.
I was already interested, but now I'm twice as interested. So
We may even get a second guest on and have you
No.
compete against them.
oh, this
For the
got
belt.
this got twice as interesting.
All right. Again, we love producing this show on the air as we figure things out on the fly. Okay, so the setup's going to be is I'm always going to read the first option. Jacob's always going to read the second option, but we completely randomized which one of us is reading what. I'm reading stuff Jacob made up. I'm reading stuff I made up. I'm reading stuff that was real that I came up with. I'm reading stuff that's real that Jacob came up with. So it's all completely random which ones we're reading, but I will always read first. Jacob will always read second.
Are you ready?
And there's no trickery, right?
There's
No.
One is for sure real, one is for sure fake.
Yes.
Correct. Yep. No double
Wonderful.
truths. No, we were thinking about that at first, but no, we decided.
So then I would basically just be like, Ryan's is real, Jake's is fake, or
right, exactly.
whoever read it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You can do it that way.
So okay. Without further ado, let's get started here.
Let's do this.
Do we have a name for the game?
Do we have a bell? How do you guys not have a bell right now?
Bells are expensive, and we obviously put all of our money into
So,
equipment. And
There probably will be a bell, just not right now. It'll be in the editing process.
Oh,
post
okay.
production.
I got ahead of the game. Sorry.
All of a sudden,
All right.
this
On the
is where
fly.
you hear the ding, ding, ding.
Exactly. We really do need a bell for that. That would have been great.
We should.
All right.
Sorry.
Things to buy. How much is that on Amazon?
Yeah, right.
All right. Option number one. We'll start there. A judgmental leprechaun attempts to get the clients of a model agency to come live under the wrestling ring with him.
Option B.
Option B. Yeah.
Option B. Evil policeman drags away the casket and body during the funeral of his opponent's father. Which one was real? Which one was fake?
Yeah, we'll call mine option A. His is option B, which is the real one.
I gotta go with option B on this one. Is real.
Option B is the real one.
Option B is the real one.
Final answer.
Final answer.
You are correct.
Oh yeah.
So, what was this angle?
So this was the big boss man, the evil policeman against the Big Show early on in Big Show's career in WWE. Obviously, he was the evil policeman. He was being a jerk, and one of the things he did was show up to the funeral for Big Show's father in like an old school police cruiser, put a chain around the casket and dragged it away while Big Show was riding on it, clinging to it for dear life.
That
No.
is awful.
Because I know Big Show's father is not actually with us anymore.
Correct. He did actually pass away around that time.
This was not actually the thing, correct?
I can't say definitively that it wasn't, but I would presume it wasn't.
Because 90s WWE, you never know.
Right, Attitude Era, you don't really actually know some days.
He does look like an evil policeman, doesn't he?
Oh yeah. He could be a stripper policeman. Especially some of those
That
photos.
wasn't too far off from where he kind of started.
Oh, interesting.
It was one of those real fake police outfits that would
So-
like snap away.
All right.
They never actually called him a police officer. He was a correctional officer
all right.
Oh yeah, he was a corrections officer from Mississippi.
from Cobb County, Georgia.
That's what it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Neato.
All right, question 2.
So-
Option...
Hang on.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
hang on.
We're gonna have to keep track of Rob.
I think we can keep track in my head.
Okay, you
We're
got
good. We're good.
it. All right.
All right, question 2. Option A. Good guy barista fights against asshole scientist for the love of a former server. Barista loses. Eventually becomes an evil stalker. Scientist gets the girl.
Wow, that's crazy.
Option B. A psychotic poet drags a suited businessman into a bathroom and assaults him in an attempt to recreate a scene from Pulp Fiction. Which one was real?
This is a tough one for me right now. I think
It's one of those things where everything
it's
is
the
so
word. It's the
outlandish.
wordplay.
Yeah.
It's the wordplay. I'm trying to envision any knowledge that I have of wrestling, which is obviously, as I've told you, is very minimal. Like I used to watch this when I was like 5 years old with my grandma in the afternoon, and so I'm trying to envision a barista being a wrestler, which is throwing me off, and then the Pulp Fiction scene in a bathroom. And all I can imagine is like an Edgar Allan Poe type scenario, and it's just like throwing me off. And I don't imagine wrestling with that. So I feel like I'm going to go with option A was real.
Option A.
Option
Final
A.
answer?
That's my final answer.
You are incorrect, sir.
Son of a...
Option A was my lie. That is the plot to Friends.
Oh, my God. Shut up.
Gunther is in love with Rachel, who likes Ross, who's a complete dick.
Oh, my God.
So, the psychotic poet. This was 2004, 5-ish.
Yeah, kind of
Uh,
mid-2000s.
The psychotic poet was a man by the name of Heidenreich.
Heidenreich.
He feuded with The Undertaker on SmackDown, kind of in Undertaker's comeback days. He dragged Michael Cole, who's one of the announcers, into a bathroom and assaulted him. We don't know how he assaulted him.
Oh, so this was behind closed doors. You didn't see it.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
a-
okay.
at certain points, the camera always kind of... If there's going to be something too crazy, the camera usually cuts
Too
away.
real. Too
Yeah.
real.
They walked into the bathroom. The door closed. You heard some commotion. Heidenreich came out, and Michael Cole came out with a disheveled look on his face. His hair was all crazy, and his tie was messed up.
Wow.
And come to find out that they did that because of the scene in Pulp Fiction, which
bring out the gimp, that whole thing.
Yes, that's what they
Interesting.
went for.
Interesting.
That's a bold move. But
Yeah.
All right.
Heidenreich didn't really do much. He kind of hung
No.
around for a couple of years. He was a tag title champ for a while. He was also supposed to come in as a Nazi
I was
stormtrooper.
about to say, shockingly, given the name Heidenreich, the original gimmick for him was a Nazi.
Yeah,
Thankfully,
I mean-
someone got the better of Vince and went, maybe not.
Thank God.
yeah. They. I remember reading about him supposedly coming in as a Nazi stormtrooper because he's a very large man with blonde hair and blue eyes.
Mm.
Go figure. Vince actually in the board meeting for that story fired the guy and told him never to come back when he pitched that story.
That's the appropriate reaction to that.
Smart move. Smart move.
Yeah.
I'm honestly proving a point that I obviously have never watched wrestling enough or Friends, clearly.
Yeah.
So moving on.
All right. Question
So-
number 3.
Rob's 1 for 1 now.
Question number 3, option A. Barbecue Grill Master fights off a member of PETA due to how he treats his animals. Force feeds him barbecue after he wins the match.
Wow.
Option B. Evil owner of the company fakes his own death via exploding car to see if his children still love him after years of doing battle with and against him.
I have this weird feeling that I know this one. Potentially. And I could be wrong because I'm going to look like an idiot by saying that going in so confidently. So let's hope I don't look stupid when I say that option B was real.
Final answer?
That's my final answer.
Option B was real.
I knew it.
Yeah,
I
that's what-
remember that. I
Yep.
feel like I remember that.
That was a pretty big one.
How long ago was that?
That was, I want to say, 2009 or 10.
No, I wasn't
Maybe a little
watching
before
then,
that.
but I for some reason
Well,
that sounded like
it
super
was-
familiar.
It was a super big deal because Vince McMahon climbs into his limo, closes the door, the limo explodes, and then the real reason it's known is because of what happened the following night.
Well, not the following night. So
Well, the following
The-
week.
the death happens. I think it's about 2 weeks later in the middle of this Vince McMahon's dead storyline. Maybe you've heard of Chris Benoit?
Yep, I heard of him.
Yeah, that happened right in the middle of this whole storyline, and Vince had to walk out and goes, okay, so we were just kidding about that, and we're never going to speak of this guy ever again.
You remember what happened with Benoit?
No, do not know what happened with
Oh,
Benoit.
he murdered his child, his wife, and himself.
Did not know all that.
Yeah.
He had a fit of roid rage.
Kind of combined with a lot of concussion brain damage.
Yep. And murder-suicide with his wife and his autistic child, and then hung himself with his weightlifting equipment.
Yeah.
Ooh, this just got real dark.
Yeah, all right.
So moving on to episode in the next one.
All right.
So Rob is 2-1 right now.
Yep, so far he's got the lead. Question number 4. Biker gang invades wrestling company. Along the way, they try to steal the boss's daughter. They get stopped by the mafia, made up of elderly members and fresh young faces who are bored with life.
Option B. Heroic Lady Dragon battles evil Lady Wizard to get her daughter back. Which one was real?
Yeah. I got a lot of no good ideas on this one. Man, I feel like now I'm getting stuck into a spot where I'm overthinking because
It's very possible.
first off, the way the wordplay is, it just stretches reality as it is. And then he fooled me with a storyline from Friends. So
Gotta watch
now
out those sitcom situations.
So now I am not only thinking about episodes that could have actually happened in wrestling, and then also comparing to them storylines of
Some-
movies and shows.
I can only
And-
imagine that Sons of Anarchy flashed through your head.
Yeah, as soon as he said the biker gang, but then the mafia thing happened, and I'm like, no, Sons of Anarchy I know from the back of my
It's like-
hand.
And maybe it's
So-
Sopranos. Maybe that's where the mafia tied in.
Now, I know wizards and stuff sound like a far stretch, but that could just be the wordplay on that for me right now.
Exactly. Sometimes you do kind of... Describing characters in wrestling sometimes it gets really weird.
Yeah, I mean,
You could call Undertaker like a dead wizard.
exactly.
Oh,
I mean,
you could call
for-
him like a zombie wizard, yeah.
Yeah.
For example, when you were explaining this to me like a week ago and you were getting me on board with it. You gave me an example, and you said something about a body, the skeleton of bones, or something like that. And
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I talked
and,
about that one too.
and that just kind of like I wouldn't.
The floating skeleton.
Human skeleton.
I would have never
Laparca.
thought that. Would have
Yeah.
never thought that in my life. So I feel like could be going against my gut on it, but I'm gonna say B is real. Final answer.
B is not real.
Oh,
It's another one I made up.
son of a biscuit.
All right, Jacob, would you like to take us through what the biker gang thing was? Because that was TNA, and that's your area.
Yes. So during I would say the dark days of Impact Wrestling, there was a faction that came through called the Aces and Eights.
And if you were thinking Sons of Anarchy, that was right on track because it was exactly the same time Sons of Anarchy was big, and it was totally ripping them off.
Oh.
The network that Impact was on also ran reruns of Sons of Anarchy. So they were like, well, this is a popular thing. Hey, why don't you guys do something with it? Okay, let's make a biker gang stable of wrestlers.
Yeah, and they all had like different ranks, and they had like their
They had-
colors and
They had the vests. They had Sergeant at Arms. There was
Director of Chaos.
Yep, there was the originals, and then when new members came in, they had to earn their colors, and they did the whole thing with it. With Aces and Eights, it was essentially the NWO of Impact Wrestling. Everybody was a part of it at some point, even the announcers. They ended up trying to steal Hulk Hogan's daughter Brooke, because Hogan was the boss at the time,
Okay.
and one of them attempted to marry her against her will.
How does that even work?
I mean, pretty much like the Stephanie McMahon and
Oh, so they
Triple H thing.
drugged her in. She says yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ugh.
Jesus, grimy.
But it started off as she really wanted to get married to Bully Ray because he wasn't part of the Aces and Eights. They did the whole ceremony thing, and then all of a sudden Aces and Eights come out. He pulls off his tux, and he's got his colors on here, and he's the leader the whole time.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's TNA.
So they run roughshod over the entire company for like 6 months
Yeah.
almost. And then there was another stable at one point in TNA called the Main Event Mafia, which was all like the big names. Like Kevin Nash was in it,
Sting.
Kurt
Okay.
Angle,
Yeah, those sound like are familiar from the video game.
like a bunch of old timers.
Okay.
This version was a couple of old timers plus some of the newer guys that weren't really doing anything on the roster, so they put them in here to give
So
them
let's
a
get them
story.
involved in this big clusterfuck.
So yeah, that ran for like
Too damn long.
like three years almost on this show, and that was like the main storyline for
Oh.
like 3 years. It was awful.
That's way too long. Okay.
Hold on. Before we go to the next one, what was A? Or B, what was the wizard thing?
Oh,
what was
the
that
half,
from?
The half dragon, half versus the half wizard lady wrestler.
Yeah, where's
I just made that up.
wow.
Yeah, that some of these we just made up because we watch too much wrestling and we know what this sounds about, like something that could maybe happen. So,
We should write a movie.
I mean,
This Week in Wrestling History, the movie.
to be honest, how many times have we talked about we should probably just start writing for the company?
Yeah, we really. Any independent bookers out there, call us. We have bad ideas and lots of them.
we can give you lots of very bad
We'll
ideas.
give you all the bad ideas, and you can take one of them and make it a good idea. Okay,
Moving forward.
What are we on? Number
We're-
5?
Number 5.
All right, so you're 2 and 2.
Yeah, he's got 2. I got 2.
You're
I
a nut.
got 0.
Ooh, how many are we doing?
We got 12, so
12.
We're almost halfway.
Cool.
All right. Question 5, option A. Heroic strongman battles for the freedom of his mother against a death ninja turned motivational speaker. His mother is on a pole, which is actually a forklift.
Option B. A father-son samurai tag team breaks up after the son catches his father attempting to join an evil corporation and breaks the code of the samurai.
Oh boy.
Outlandish. Both of them.
Yes.
We got samurais, we have death ninjas.
Motivational speakers.
Deaf ninja churn motivational speaker. I can't even speak. I need that guy right now. Yeah. I'm just going to pick one at this point because neither one of them are really winning me over. And I'm going to go with A. I'm going to say A is real.
A is, in fact, real.
Yes!
The heroic strongman was a guy named Buff Bagwell, which we've bagged on a whole ton on this show.
He was trash.
Nobody liked him?
No,
He was awful.
He was awful.
Oh, why was he awful? What makes a wrestler awful? Is he
So
just bad at bad
he-
performances or
he,
what?
He was crap in the ring. Like, he didn't do many impressive moves. The moves he did do weren't executed well. He couldn't talk worth anything. And he just wasn't very entertaining.
So think
This is
about
a
it.
common opinion from most people, I'm assuming.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So you've been to IWF when we went out to
Yeah, yeah.
Brockport.
Yeah.
You would say that there was a mixed bag of talent there. There was some people who were pretty good, and
Yeah.
there were some people that you were like,
Yeah, this guy was boring.
yeah, this guy was probably. I shouldn't even say probably. This guy was worse than some of the best people in IWF. And
Really?
and he was on a professional,
Oh, yeah.
professional
So-
WCW level.
That's
He
kind of
did-
embarrassing.
He did look very impressively large. He was in great shape.
Pulling him up for me so I can see what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
looking at. Okay.
And just how great of shape was he in, you may ask? Well, he went on after he ended his wrestling career to become a professional male escort.
Interesting.
But yeah, the Death Ninja turned
Oh.
motivational speaker was a guy by the name of Chris Canyon. His original character was Mortis, which was basically a death ninja because WCW was running an angle back in the day, which was basically, we're going to make Mortal Kombat real. So he was one of like the Sub-Zero
And there was
Scorpion
like
ripoffs.
4 of these characters.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of them.
Interesting.
But yeah, so this was one of their characters, and then he eventually kind of started emulating Diamond Dallas Page, who was doing a motivational speaker kind of gimmick, so it was a ripoff of him. Then yeah, they had Buff Bagwell's mom on a forklift, and it was called a Judy Bagwell on a pole match.
What?
That's Glacier. That was one.
He
that was,
literally
the
looks
main
like
guy.
Sub-Zero almost.
Oh yeah, there's
That does not. That's
that's
weird.
Mortis. That's the Death Ninja. Looks kind of like a cross between Reptile and Scorpion. And
You said death?
Death.
This whole time I thought you said deaf, like could not hear.
Oh no, Death as an
Wow.
Well, you still got it. So
Yeah, it's weird that I chose that because I thought this whole time he could. Was that made like that?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so we're looking
I
at a
thought it
photo
was a
of
meme.
Glacier squaring off against
no.
Mortis.
No, they
Mm-hmm.
WCW actually did that.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
yeah.
that was a ripoff.
It-
Wow,
it
I
was-
can't believe I chose A because I literally thought you said he couldn't hear anything.
The non-hearing ninja.
It
Wow.
was it was essentially a time of because this was when Mortal Kombat was like
Yeah, it was like Mortal Kombat 3 or 4 was out.
when it was
Oh wow,
know,
this is a
really-
long time ago.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
A deaf ninja becoming a motivational speaker actually makes more sense.
See, I mean that's why I was like,
That
that
was-
sounds like it could be real.
That's appropriate character development.
There we go.
Okay, number 6.
So Rob is
3,
3 and 2.
2.
There we
It's
go.
3, 2, and 0 right now.
Yes.
I'm on.
You pick up
I'm,
the 0.
every other one here. So
All right. 6, option A. Rotund man trained in the fighting style of natural disasters sits on fashionable homeless man's pet snake.
Your face for that one.
oh boy,
Option B. Evil surgeon battles against the owner of the company in a life or death heart medication on a pole match. Which one was real?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Per our conversation a week ago of what I told you my knowledge of wrestling is, I want to go with A, but part of me feels like it could be B.
Both are very good options.
Yeah, they both sound very realistic. And like I said, I'm at this point in the game, I'm really trying to downplay the words you use to describe these wrestlers because they're, like you said, very like generic. And
Yeah, it's
if I stick to the words too hard, I will get so thrown off.
it's a little they can be a little shoehorned in there just because we do have to describe these things vaguely.
Yeah. So because of that, I'm gonna go with my gut on this one, and I'm gonna go with A as my final answer.
A
is real.
Final answer, real. You are correct.
Boom.
So this was back in like 91 or 92. Guy by the name
Way
of
back there.
Earthquake fought Jake the Snake Roberts.
That's where I knew it from.
There
Yep.
it is.
So yep, he sat on his snake Damien. That was Earthquake's finishing move, was bounce off the ropes, run, and sit down on someone's chest
Interesting.
Which
Why did he sit on the snake then?
because he was afraid of snakes.
So he sat on the snake because he was afraid of it?
The snake was in a bag. Yes.
Okay, so he tried to, like,
Oh, he killed the snake.
he did kill a snake.
Yes. Then Jake the Snake came out with a bigger snake afterwards.
Oh.
which is always funny because Jake the Snake Roberts, being a snake lover, clearly
Yeah, you told me this.
comes out in very, very snake-skinned boots.
Yeah, calling him a homeless man, a fashionable homeless man, I really enjoyed. It's a little bit of a stretch on the character, I suppose. but
That's kind of like I said. That's how I lean towards it so hard because I told him a week ago. I was like, yeah, I don't know much about wrestling. I remember I knew Jake the Snake. I didn't even remember the name. I had to describe it to him.
Yeah.
And then Jake was like, yeah, Jake the Snake.
He
Yep.
goes, yeah, he always came out in like snake boots and he had snakes with him. I was like, Jake the Snake
Snake.
Roberts.
As soon as you said, and then as you described that, I was like, homeless fashionista or whatever. And I was like, I think I might know this one.
all right, nice. We're at 4 and 2 now.
4 and 2.
All right, number 7, option A. The brother of a mentally challenged man enlists the help of evil supernatural forces to fight against his brother's hero.
Sounds like a sequel to Rain Man.
A very twisted one. Option B. Jack Sparrow faces off a Mexican luchador who has an identity crisis and decides to suddenly become a rich white elitist until the pirate gets hurt by the elitist's golf cart.
What?
Would you like me to read it again?
No, but what?
What?
I just that one sounds so far fetched that I'm gonna choose it. I'm gonna say B is real.
B is not real. Jacob finally gets a point.
I knew it. I knew that wasn't real. I
Yep.
just something told me it's just way too far out there.
So the real one is the brother of a mentally challenged man enlists the help of evil supernatural forces to fight against his brother's hero. So that was the creation of the Dungeon of Doom in WCW. There was this quote unquote like Satanist guy, Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster, and in the show, his brother Dave went by Evad, which was Dave backwards, because they acted like he had some form of dyslexia / autism / it was the early 90s unnamed mental disorder.
Gotcha.
Yay, 90s.
And
Woo!
Dave's big hero was Hulk Hogan, who was pretty new to the company. And Kevin Sullivan hated that his brother liked Hulk Hogan more than him, so he created the Dungeon of Doom to kill Hulkamania.
And that was the name of the entire stable. The Dungeon of
I
Doom
remember hearing about that.
to kill Hulkamania.
Yeah. It was the Alliance to end Hulkamania when we
Oh, that's
covered
right.
that
That's right.
whatever cage match. And, oh boy, that was bad.
Interesting.
So I have to say that those two characters that I mentioned in there were actual characters
Yeah,
in
those were-
WWE at one point.
Yeah.
Got
those were
it.
both really close to real
Just not a
characters.
real angle.
Exactly.
Right.
Nothing like that
So-
happened.
On SmackDown at one point, there was a guy by the name of Paul Burchill who essentially dressed up as a pirate.
He was the pirate Paul Burchill, and he would like swing through backdrops and stuff every once in a while. And
Like when he came out, all of a sudden he would come from like around the set on a giant rope and land in front of it as like a pirate while Pirates of the Caribbean music was playing.
very swash, very buckle.
Interesting.
Then there was Kerwin White, better known by Chavo Guerrero Jr.
Yeah, guy came from a very famous wrestling family in Mexico, and apparently they decided they didn't have anything else for him. You're going to pretend to be a rich white guy that golfs.
What?
So
That was
you-
his gimmick.
You know Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Chavo is Eddie's nephew.
Okay.
And they have a very long lineage of wrestlers in their family, going back to like their great grandfather
Yeah.
wrestling in like the 30s.
Wow.
Chavo becomes Kerwin White, who wears a white button-down dress shirt with a green sweater vest over top of it, and dyes his hair bleach blonde from black. And he actually rides to the
Interesting.
ring every now and then
in a golf cart.
Yep. And the most notable thing there is his caddy was Dolph Ziggler now.
Yes, Dolph Ziggler, who's actually does comedy shows around here quite often now.
All right. Moving on.
So you're
Four,
it's now
2 and
4,
1.
2 and 1.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
What number are we on?
We're on number 8 now.
Okay.
Number 8, option A. Male cheerleaders are contracted by the government to invade a wrestling corporation to get dirt on the chairman and to blackmail him into supporting the future president of the United States.
Option B. A pig farmer is kidnapped by a satanic cult, brainwashed, and becomes a nudist.
I say what? Oh boy. Wow, that dude just took a boot right to the mouth.
Yeah, so while we're doing our game show, we actually have Takeover Phoenix on the show behind or on the screen behind us, and Matt Riddle just got booted in the face by Cassius Ohno.
Wow.
Yeah, this was the takeover before Royal Rumble.
Yeesh, that was legitimately a boot to the mouth.
Oh, a lot of times.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know there's definitely contact, but like, very rarely, I feel like I see like the slow-mos of something like that.
Yeah,
that
every
was
once in
like
a
a
while, there's a little bit more than you expect there to be. You're
Yeah.
like, ooh,
The thing with Riddle and what they're doing with a lot of people is Riddle actually used to fight in the UFC.
Okay.
So he's been known to, when he's up close to people like he is right now,
Mhm.
whisper in their in their ear, really give it to me.
yeah,
Okay.
it's like
And he'll actually take.
I'll take it.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Brock Lesnar does the same thing every
Yeah.
now and then. Ronda does it every now and then.
yeah, it's just like do it.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
you'll-
yeah. That was wild to see just now. Because like I said, I don't watch a lot of wrestling, so I can't really compare it to much. But I mean, when I've watched it here and there and seen things like normally the slow mos are either just like a sweet move or
Or
obviously someone getting slapped in the chest, which obviously you know is real. But
or they speed it up real quick at the
Yeah,
end so you don't
yeah.
see it.
Yeah,
exactly, they do the quick speed up to the next move. I've never seen like a legit like you saw. It was like watching Rocky, like when he gets punched in the mouth, like just like slow mo boot right to his mouth. But anyways, are we on to the next one? Right, 8.
Nope,
Or
you're
no,
not.
I gotta
Yeah,
choose.
Yes.
I gotta choose. Shoot.
Do we want to read them again?
Male cheerleaders
Yeah.
versus Satanist pig farmer nudist.
Yes. Nudist is B. Cheerleaders is A.
Cheerleaders sent by the government.
I feel like I'm trying to test my knowledge on what I possibly know, and clearly there's no knowledge on this one. I'm winging it. Trying to hold this 2-point lead at least over Ryan right now. I'm gonna go with A. Is my final answer.
A is incorrect. Jacob has tied it up.
Oh man,
got
it's
another
it's
one.
getting too heated now. It's
I
getting
got
way too
another
damn
one.
heated. in
Yep.
here.
So the real one, B, was there was a character named Phineas I. Godwin. His initials spell pig. He got kidnapped by what was the Undertaker's group's name? The Ministry of Darkness.
Yep.
So the Ministry of Darkness kidnaps Midian. They torture him, and eventually, once the Ministry of Darkness is done being a group, he becomes Naked Midian, where he has basically a flesh-colored thong, but wears a fanny pack over his front to make it look like he's actually just streaking around the place.
Wild.
So mine, there was actually a group of male cheerleaders in WWE. They went by, what was it again? The Spirit Squad.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Again, Dolph Ziggler was part of that too.
Yes, he was. So around the time that they were in WWE, Vince McMahon was feuding with Donald Trump.
Okay.
And at a WrestleMania one year, Vince picked a guy, Donald Trump picked a guy, and they wrestled, and whoever lost.
Had to shave their head.
So Vince McMahon lost because Donald Trump refused to shave his comb over.
His sweet hair.
And hence Vince McMahon getting shaved bald in the middle of the ring by Donald Trump.
Neat. Oh.
All right. Question number 9.
So it's 4, 2, and 2.
All
This
tied
is
up.
literally anybody's game at
It
this
is.
point. Like
This is-
I was really hoping to get up by at least 2 more so I could feel comfortable going in the final 4. But like the fact that there's 4 more left, like this could literally go any way for anybody.
We might have to make up a tiebreaker.
It really could go into a tie. If that happens, we'll figure out something. All right. Question 9, option A. Playboy strongman gets 77-year-old girlfriend pregnant after they think they lost the child. They think they lost the child after a large satanic cult member sits on the girlfriend. Afterwards, she gives birth to a hand.
What?
Option B.
Oh my goodness.
Rich man buys a title for his son. Son loses the title to the butler in his first defense because of the maid.
Yeah, these got wicked harder the farther we got in.
That
Holy
was the
cow.
point.
Yeah.
We're in the end game now, Rob.
Oh, clever.
Shit has gotten real.
Props to you guys for the creativity on some of these. Because I am, they definitely got.
And I think it's just a cumulative effect, too, where you just start being like, sure, everything's real. Just, this is all
Like-
real. This all makes sense.
Towards the beginning, it's like, okay, I can kind of separate things, and then as it goes on, the more outlandish they get, and you're just like, well, shit.
Shit.
Exactly. It's like anything could be anything now.
All right. Can I get A again?
Playboy strongman gets 77-year-old girlfriend pregnant.
How the hell is that even possible? Like, how? Like, that's why I feel like I need to go with B. I don't even care what B is. When you said that, I was like, there's no way it's fucking A. But at the same time, it's probably A, and I'm going to be so pissed when I say B.
We'll keep reading it.
Afterwards, they think they lose the child when a large satanic cult member sits on the girlfriend. Afterwards, she gives birth to,
To
a
a
hand.
hand. To a. What is happening?
Do you want me to read B again?
Yes,
for you?
please, because I need something to just bring me to reality.
Rich man buys a title for his son.
That could happen.
The son loses the title to the butler in the first defense because of the maid.
That could also happen. That seems so real compared to a 77-year-old pregnant woman who gets sit on and still gives birth. How is she pregnant? I'm going with A. Fuck it. I'm going with A as my final answer.
Final answer A is in fact the real answer.
Woohoo! I told you if I would have picked B, I would have walked out of this podcast and I would have never came back.
So, the previously mentioned Ministry of Darkness satanic cult, same satanic cult here. So the gimmick was, yes, Mark Henry, the world's strongest man.
Who at this time was kind of in his quote-unquote sexual chocolate gimmick.
Yep.
Oh, I like that.
Got a former female wrestler, Mae Young, who was 77 at the time, pregnant. This bigger man named Viscera splashes Mae Young, jumps on top of her. They think she has a miscarriage, but instead she retains the pregnancy and gives birth to a hand, getting the classic line, "It's a hand. Let's give Mae a hand, everyone. Let's give her a hand." And then they all clap for her.
So
It was just a rubber hand.
how long ago was this?
Late
Nine-
90s,
Okay.
2000.
All right.
Somewhere between
All right.
98 and 2000.
Because if this was
Yeah.
anywhere past like 2005, I'd be like, "What is going on?" Like,
Well,
you've-
medical technology's come a long way.
yeah, I feel like I could see this being something done like in like the 90s or something, and be like, "Wow, this was incredibly stretched."
And what's funny is that Mark Henry, being a semi-serious competitor, was a multi-time gold medal strongman.
Yeah, he was actually legitimately a gold medalist in the Olympics and won the title of world's strongest man twice. Like, that was a legitimate thing. All right. Moving
Well,
on.
Now I have to see
When it
where-
actually was.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested because, like I said, knowing that anything past 2005, a storyline like that would just be like, "What what were you thinking?" That is too much, in my opinion.
This was in 99.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
I accept it.
That's
I
a
accept
suitable
it.
time frame for that.
I take it.
All right. Question number 10. Option A. Half man, half demon battles half man, half angel in a steel cage first blood match. Match is interrupted by boat captain turned kickboxer who knocks out everyone.
I can't handle this.
Wait for this one.
Oh God.
Two resident bad boys attempt to blackmail a southern gentleman by revealing that he is sleeping with the boss, only then to reveal that the gentleman got a drug addict pregnant, only then to reveal everything was a lie from the start.
That sounds like a storyline from like Dallas or a soap opera.
You would think.
I'm stuck. I have a lot on the line. If I can get this right, I can secure the belt.
Yeah. Getting any
'Cause
one of
you're-
the next three right does pretty much
Secure
lock
the
you
belt
in.
for me.
Yep.
Because you're at what, 5?
I have 5. It's 5, 2, and 2.
Yep.
I get any of the next 3 right, I secure the belt. So I'm kind of in a situation where I'm
You have some breathing room, but it could still all slip away.
yeah. You ever get comfortable, things just go wrong real quick. I feel like B sounds familiar to me. Like it sounds like a storyline that I feel like I may have ever recognized or heard. But also A sounds like I can envision the characters, in my opinion. So that's why I'm having a hard time here.
Final answer.
Final answer is I'm gonna go with A. I'm just gonna wing it here. I'm going with A as my final answer.
A is incorrect.
Damn it.
That was my lie.
Mm-hmm.
Half man, half demon was kind of a real character in Finn Balor. Half man, half angel, not really so much a real character. And then the boat captain turned kickboxer, I just completely made up.
That's just sounded. I totally honestly forgot about the boat captain. Yep,
So
forgot about him.
this one was, again, in Impact Wrestling. AJ Styles, being the Southern Gentleman, was revealed by Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, going by the names of, what was their tag team name?
SCU.
No, in this they were Bad Influence,
Ooh, they were a bad influence.
hence the Resident Bad Boys. They were trying to blackmail AJ into getting him out of getting a title
I
shot.
swear, I feel like I know this. Well, how long ago was this?
Oh, this was like 2008.
Was it
9?
before or after Aces and Eights?
It was. I think it was just before.
I think
So
it was before as well.
2009, 2010-ish.
Was this when it was on wrestling was on USA?
No, it still is on USA. This would have been on Spike TV.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
So they reveal that they're trying to blackmail AJ to getting him out of a title shot by him sleeping with
Yeah.
the president, Dixie Carter. That was not the case. The meetings that they showed of AJ and Dixie Carter were actually of the two of them trying to help a young woman who was a drug addict. Her name was Jane Lynch. Only to then say AJ's...
It wasn't Jane Lynch. That's the lady from
It was something
Glee.
Lynch. It was something Lynch.
Okay. Anyways. Yay, another awful TNA angle. All right. Question number 11. Option A. Collegiate wrestler turns to pro wrestling after he fails to get his students to win the state tournament. He talks about his glory days in promos, but can never live up to the hype.
Option B. Canadian hero fights against evil Japanese angel that carries around a replica of the Canadian's severed head. Later, a pirate steals the Canadian's jacket.
Is that it?
Oh yeah, that's it. I'm done.
There's like no climax to that for me at all.
Sometimes that happens with wrestling storylines.
Oh, man. Honestly, these two are very boring for me. I don't know what happens. Like, there's no, like,
No resolution here.
oh.
Hence, quite a few wrestling storylines.
Yeah, quite a few wrestling storylines will suddenly end when someone gets fired, someone gets hurt.
Lots of plot holes, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
That's wrestling.
But no one cares because it's entertaining.
Exactly. Don't worry about what happened last week. What's happening this week?
You just like your people you like, and that's it. Damn.
So it is currently 4, 3, and 2.
I think
No,
it's
I have
5.
Oh,
3.
5,
5, 4,
three.
and 5, 4,
Five,
5,
three.
3, and 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. 5, 3, 2. Because we're on question 11 right now.
Correct.
And you don't have to read the whole things. What was A and what was B again?
A was the collegiate wrestler.
Yep.
B was Canadian fighting Japanese guy to have a pirate steal his jacket.
Final answer is B.
B is correct.
Oh, yes.
So the Canadian hero is Bret Hart. The Japanese angel is Hakushi.
I know that name.
He was known as Jinsei Shinzaki in FMW
So-
and ECW.
Wait, you know Hakushi or
I-
Bret Hart?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay, I'm surprised
All
you know
right.
Hakushi.
Yeah, he wasn't well known in WWF, but he was really good in WWF.
Yeah.
But he had a really weird, like, he kind of came out dressed as like he almost looked like Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
Nope.
And then the pirate is currently known as PCO in ROH, Pierre Carl Ouellette.
No,
Yep.
no knowledge at all.
He would be known later on in WWF as half of the
Quebecers.
Quebecers. where
Actually,
he-
previously he was half of the Quebecers.
yes, because his tag team partner would then go on to be the Mountie in WWF.
Well, the Mountie became half of the Quebecers when he came in. Unimportant.
My timeline's all screwed up.
Yep.
So that last one was mine, correct?
No, because he guessed the right thing.
I guessed it correctly.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, if
Yep.
he had fallen for yours, it would
That's
have been
right.
yours.
I forgot
What was
about
yours?
that.
What was that storyline?
The collegiate wrestler turns
yeah.
pro wrestler.
We have to talk about that.
Yes.
one.
Please.
So I based that off of a friend of ours at work who was a collegiate wrestler who didn't turn to pro wrestling, but he just recently had a kid go to states, and the kid placed but didn't win. And since he never listens to our podcast, we rag on him all the time in hopes that one day he does listen. And he's gonna be like, "Shit, they're talking about me."
Fuck you, Mike.
So you just made a fucking angle about his life.
Yes.
Basically.
What's even worse is I asked him like how to insult himself, and he told me to fuck off because he's not gonna insult himself.
I really hope that he somehow listens to this episode, and when he gets to this round, listens to A and goes, "Holy fuck!" Like, I really hope that happens. That would be incredible.
In like 2022, he probably will finally get to it because he's listened to a few now. But, anyways,
So
Well, this last one's basically
you've
for
clinched,
fun.
Yeah,
You've clinched the belt.
You actually clinched it a few questions back just because of how the split works. Mathematically, you wouldn't have known, but you would basically.
Well,
beat
I,
us.
I did the math on question 10, and I basically realized that once I got to 5, there was a chance, unless I guessed incorrectly on all of yours, there was no way that
Yep, and I
that
didn't
you guys
have
were gonna catch up.
What you didn't know is I didn't have enough fake ones coming up left. To get the
Oh,
points.
it's that random.
Yep.
yes,
Did not know that.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was basically almost every other one.
Nope.
Wow. So,
no, we
so these last fake ones are Jake's. Essentially, is what you're saying.
No, not
Oh, you're just
necessarily.
not. You just didn't have enough. You just
Exactly, I
didn't
didn't have enough.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I definitely had
understand.
more left, but yeah, mathematically, I think you probably clinched it probably back around 8 or 9. So.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Nice.
victory lap here for whoever has the last lie left.
Let's
and-
do this.
and for our listeners at home.
Indeed. All right, option A.
I hope anybody listening is also trying to make guesses as well, because that would just be boring. And then obviously tweet back your responses and all that other good stuff.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, let us know how you scored on the quiz. All right. Option A. Flamboyant hairdresser battles evil lawyer over the right to cut the lawyer's wife's hair. Hairdresser wins. New haircut causes the wife to go wild and demands a divorce. Crowd loves it.
I just want to pick that one. Go ahead.
Option B. Yoga and fitness guru stalks the wife of a biker and tries to get her to love him. When faced with rejection, he says he didn't care about her at all. He just wanted to fight the biker.
You guys picked the wildest one for the last. I can't. I'm going with A. That's my final answer.
All right, I get a point at the end.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so
Completely made that one up.
That just sounded so wild.
I
I was
thought
like,
that
it's
sounded-
gotta be real.
Didn't it? It sounds exactly like what would happen in wrestling. Good guy, bad guy.
Like
Good guy
I
finally
could-
wins, gets the bad guy's valet.
Like, I'm literally watching this happening on the TV, and I'm envisioning like all of this happening in the ring right now.
well, the part that would have gotten me with that one is crowd loves it at the end.
Why would the crowd not love that?
It sounds amazing.
That'd be something that, because like like I said, you had the ones, I don't remember what number it was. It was like 9 or 10, where I thought it was like very boring. It had like no climax, and I feel like this one, that one had climax, insane climax.
that
It was a whole story.
That was
The
fantastic.
entire character arc.
I,
in 3
I
sentences.
loved it. I loved A should happen. So
So B was when Diamond Dallas Page, DDP, the yoga and fitness
Yeah, the
guru,
previously mentioned motivational speaker.
Nice.
because he now has DDP yoga, which apparently does wonders for people from what I've heard.
Apparently it works.
He stalks the wife of The Undertaker, who is in his American Badass biker gimmick, where he comes out to Limp Bizkit.
How can you ever possibly be a badass coming out to Limp Bizkit in retrospect?
Oh.
I mean, in the 2000s?
In the 2000s, yeah, Limp Bizkit was the
Yeah,
shit.
that's pretty hot.
Well, he
like
came out to
2000s.
Rollin', so I mean,
Oh, seriously.
That was a great song.
I mean,
for that
yeah,
one
you don't walk
year-
out in 2019 to Rollin', but you walk out in 2003 or 2002.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, DDP spends weeks trying to get Undertaker's wife to fall in love with him and, like, take advantage of her. She obviously rejects him, slaps him in the face a couple of times while he's facing The Undertaker. And then he finally says, I didn't care about you at all. I just wanted to face the biggest guy here.
The crowd loves it.
They did not.
No.
No.
Shit.
That was not a good angle.
Yeah. DDP is a bad guy, rarely ever worked out well.
He was
So,
he was always better as the babyface underdog.
yeah, kind of like he was kind of like the Bruce Springsteen, where he's like just
Yeah.
the good old all-American guy, just kind of going up against, fighting for what's right, fighting for what's wrong. So, congratulations, Rob. You are officially the first ever wrestling history champion.
Currently holding it over my head for anybody who can't see this, which is everybody who's listening.
So, at some point, we'll either have a part 2 to this game or we'll come up with another one
Yeah.
and have you defend said title against either us or another guest.
So do I get to hold on to this?
Yep,
yeah,
that
you
is
get
yours
to-
to keep.
that's yours.
That is your trophy.
Oh, Michelle's going to love this. It's going to go right on the bookshelf.
It's
Right
a,
on the book. She don't even like wrestling. So I won this.
It's a major award.
It's different when you've done something to earn it.
This goes out to my my grandmother, rest in peace. I watched wrestling with her a lot when I was younger. When I was a little boy.
You owe this win to her.
This goes to her, Jake the Snake. That was my clincher, I want to say.
It was.
And,
that
that-
clutch knowledge.
That's the one I actually knew. So thanks, Graham, if you're watching.
So, now I have to ask,
Okay.
being somebody who knows very little about wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
how did some of this process through your head?
So like I said, some of them were very like way too far out from me. So like I was like, no way. But then actually hearing the ones that actually happened, it made it interesting to see what they would have looked like if I watched them, like how it actually played out.
Because I'm about to say, in the end, it was an even split. You were 6-6.
Yeah.
So I think we did a pretty good job there.
Yeah, wasn't bad.
All right. Anything else before we head out here?
Do we want to talk about what we're going to talk about next week?
Sure. Go for it.
So, next week is our WrestleMania episode because WrestleMania is this weekend. It's on Sunday.
Well, next weekend.
Next weekend.
Yeah.
That's right.
So WrestleMania will be out next weekend. Our episode will drop the Friday before WrestleMania weekend, so the night of the Hall of Fame.
Yes. No. Takeover is
Takeover's
Friday.
on Friday?
Yes, Hall of Fame is Saturday, I believe.
I thought they switched that. Because I think that's how it was originally. Okay.
They-
Anyways, at some point over that weekend, you'll have Hall of Fame, NXT, and WrestleMania itself,
And our podcast to listen
and
to.
our podcast to join in the fun. So we'll cover WrestleMania 1.
Yep, we're going to talk about WrestleMania 1, and we're going to talk about WrestleMania 35 because there's got to be some difference between 35 years worth of wrestling.
Obviously.
All right.
You just heard of like the range of some of these stories from the 90s to now.
Oh, yeah. This should be a good one.
All right. So, Rob, thanks again for joining us.
Oh,
Really
thank you for
appreciate it.
having me. This was awesome.
All right.
Do you have any plugs? Are you still doing your podcast?
The podcast is basically on a leeway. I've thought about bringing back some certain characters of mine that I've done viral videos with to make my own podcast, but
Ooh.
I am not sure if that's going to happen or not. I feel
Oh.
bad, kind of. I had a podcast with a buddy of mine, and then he got a kid, and that stopped. So
Life happened.
yeah, I mean, I feel bad because I would have never like got into doing a podcast if he wasn't like, dude, we don't do music anymore. Let's make a podcast. And I would like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And I loved it. And then I just would feel bad, but I might do it. I don't know, but
Well, maybe next time we'll have you in character.
Oh,
Ooh.
I don't know if you want to handle all that the cussing that Downtown Ricky might bring to the microphone on this show.
Oh.
So
You haven't listened to some of our WCW episodes then.
I'll show you a video of Downtown Ricky later.
Oh, boy.
oh boy.
All right. Well, with that hanging in the air, I think that's all for us. We're history.